Ako urong dito, and I said I would stake my honor, my life, and even the presidency.
Ladies and gentlemen, President Rodrigo Roa Duterte. Please remain standing as we call on Ms. Angie Blanco, the PDRMO Pampanga, to lead us in a short prayer.
Let us all bow our heads and put ourselves in the holy presence of God. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Almighty God, you have entrusted us to be one of your means to serve your people. We come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us to engage in meaningful discussion towards ensuring safety of our constituents, as the recent occurrence of the earthquake brought great impacts. Comfort and heal the injured, the bereaved, the lost. Strengthen the aid workers, medical and rescue personnel. Please continue to remind us that all that we do, all that we accomplish, is for the pursuit of truth, for the greater glory of you, and in the service of humanity. May your love and grace be present among us every day and keep us all safe from any harm and forms of disaster. We ask all this in the glorious name of Jesus. Amen.
We may now take our seats. May we now call on Governor Lilia Pineda for her welcome remarks.
Sa ating pong mahal na Pangulong Rodrigo Roa Duterte, sa lahat po ng mga cabinet secretaries, sa lahat po ng kapwa ko gobernador, mga directors ng iba't ibang ahensya, mga mayors at kawani sa gobyerno, at mga kaibigan sa media. Magandang hapon po sa inyo lahat. Ako po ay nagpapasalamat sa inyong mabilisang pagtugon at pagdamay sa trahedyang nangyari dito sa lalawigan ng Pampanga. Ito ay pagpapatunay ng ating pagkakaisa, pagdadamayan at pagtutulungan sa oras ng pangangailangan. Mahal naming Pangulo, kahit po 15 yung aming casualty, pero ang laki po ng itinulong ninyo sa aming probinsya, lalo na po dito sa bayan ng Porac. Sana po maging kantabay namin kayo lagi, lalo na po sa ganitong na merong pong trahedya. Sana po lagi kayong nasa tabi ng mga Kapampangan. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Governor Pineda. At this point, may we now call on Undersecretary Ricardo B. Halad of the Office of Civil Defense for his briefing.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Mr. President, Governor Lilia Pineda, Executive Secretary Nidal Dea, Cabinet Secretaries, other officials, both local and national. Good afternoon. I will present the NDRMC response actions in connection with the magnitude 6.1 earthquake in Luzon, involving various government agencies. Next slide. PBOLX reported yesterday on the occurrence of 6.1 magnitude earthquake with epicenter in Castillejo, Zambales. It was felt in varying intensity to as far north as Baguio City and as far south as Lucban, Quezon. The highest recorded intensity was intensity 6 in San Marcelino and Subic, Zambales, Florida Blanca, Lubao, and Borac, Pampanga, Angeles City, and Olongapo City. Followed by intensity 5 in Castillejo and San Felipe, Zambales, Magalang, Mexico, San Fernando, Pampanga, Abucay, Balanga, and even in Metro Manila. Intensity 4, likewise, in parts of Bulacan, Nueva Ecija, Cavite, Antipolo City, Baguio City, and other parts of Metro Manila. Intensity 3, likewise, in parts of Bulacan, Lucban, Quezon, parts of Batangas and Cabanatuan City and Calamba City. And the lowest recorded intensity was intensity 2 in Baler, Aurora. Next is the effects of this earthquake in Region 3. As of now, reported casualties numbered 16 dead, 14 missing from that building in Porac, the Chuson supermarket, with 86 injured, which included 9 rescued in that building in Porac. These casualties, the 16 dead, are broken into 12 in Porac, 2 in Lubao, 1 in Angeles City, and 1 in San Marcelino, Zambales. Damage to structures total the number of 28 in Region 3 as of this hour, with 10 in Bataan, 3 in Zambales, and 15 in Pampanga. It also resulted to stoppage of power supply, but as of now, most of those areas affected were already restored. There was also an effect in NCR, the school building of Emilio Aguinaldo College in Malate, Manila, which leaned to its left side to the adjacent building. And shown are the pictures of the collapsed building, which the President himself saw earlier. Likewise, the damage to Clark International Airport, the collapse of ceilings and shattered glasses, which resulted to the stoppage of operations of the said airport. Also, some boundary arcs in Lubao, Pampanga, along the boundary between Pampanga and Bataan. Likewise, damage to roads, rather bridge in the Consuelo Bridge in Florida Blanca, which led to its closure to all traffic. And following is the response actions of the NDRMC involving various government agencies. A total of 523 personnel from 8 national and regional government agencies and 10 LGUs are deployed currently in Porac. Shown are the pictures of the collapsed structure search and rescue in Chuson Supermarket. I would also like to highlight that aside from the national government agencies, the MMDA also sent augmentation team to participate in the search and rescue. Likewise, the private sector, Meralco provided temporary lighting so that the search, rescue, and retrieval can be conducted even at nighttime because of the stoppage of power in the area. The National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council Operations Center raised the alert level of the Operations Center in Campo Aguinaldo to blue last night. We issued immediately upon the receipt of advisory from the PBOX advisories to all agencies concerned as through fax, SMS, website, and social media, including the free alert messages through the telcos. We likewise recommended the suspension of work in government in the offices in Metro Manila to anticipation of possible pressure on the transport sector as the DOTR canceled the trips of MRT and LRT. But early this morning or past midnight, the inspections were already completed, and trips of these railways were resumed. Thanks. The DOST, of course, issued a series of advisories, including the occurrence of aftershocks after the first tremor at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. The Department of Energy activated the Task Force on Energy Resiliency to monitor the situation and coordinated with affected areas regarding the extent of the effects and damages to energy facilities. And Petron Corporations also conducted protective tripping of some units of the refinery, which resulted to eventual plant shutdown. Next slide. The Department of Social Welfare was in a position to provide relief goods to affected populace. They have stockpiles and standby funds amounting to 1.3 billion. Next slide. The Metro Manila Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council issued memorandum to conduct inspection to all government buildings in the AUR, and the city DreamSeas, the DreamSeas of the LGUs were placed in a continuous and close coordination with the barangay DreamSeas for possible effects in Metro Manila. And MMDA deployed military trucks for libreng sakay to possible stranded passengers in anticipation of demand for transportation because of the stoppage of MRT and LRT. But early this morning, that cancellation was already recalled. It was Department of Transportation that planned for the libreng sakay, coordinating with the NDRMC as well as with the Armed Forces of the Philippines. And the PNP NCR directed the PNP Director for Logistics to immediately deploy all available PNP transport vehicles, likewise to assist the DOTR in the Libreng Sakay. Shown are the actions likewise of the various LGUs in Metro Manila. Right now they are in the state of inspections of all their buildings, and some of these local government units express interest or intention of assisting Pampanga, specifically Purak, in the conduct of search and rescue. And the following are the observations as we conducted the monitoring and coordination for the search and rescue and retrieval in Porac, Pampanga. The immediate response of local government units and national government agencies that augmented the response actions of Porac LGU was very laudable. It was demonstrated in their immediate action the concept of assisting and assisted arrangement. The Porac local government units in the province of Pampanga are the assisted government units, and with as assisting government units, various local government units nearby, as well as national government agencies. Also in Metro Manila, in other parts, the reaction of the people demonstrated the value of immediate duck cover and hold and the evacuation from the respective buildings. Likewise, there's a need to scale up from preparedness for response really to resiliency against earthquake. And this is included in the recently approved or President-approved recommendations from DUST during the Cabinet meeting in January 9, which highlighted various measures to be undertaken by different government agencies, including the local government units. These are the list of action points to be undertaken by various government agencies towards resiliency, to reduce various losses through various means, including the reduction of risk, ensure effective and efficient disaster response. That means undertaking measures to upscale our preparedness or capability and capacities, arrangement for timely and efficient recovery and build forward better, the review and or development of hazard and risk-sensitive land use plans, community-based preparedness involving the local government units as well as residents and communities, capacity building of the local government units, including the appropriate and effective information dissemination to the people, the use of redundant communication systems down to communities, especially utilizing radios, having hazard and risk-sensitive infrastructures that will be resilient to strong and stronger earthquakes, the mainstreaming of risk reduction and climate change adaptation in national and local development plans, continued improvement of monitoring system, the strengthening of resilience of urban areas, and of course the implementation of the Greater Metro Manila Resiliency Action Plans, which the President approved also, and the reiteration of the creation of a Department of Disaster Resilience. So as of now, sir, the search, rescue, and retrieval are still ongoing in Purak, Zambales, as well as assessment in other areas affected by that earthquake. So that ends my presentation. Thank you very much for your attention.
First of all, I'd like to thank the various local government units and the NGOs in this place for the excellent camaraderie shown during the crisis. I arrived last night 2 o'clock. And I would have wanted to visit here, but I was not allowed by the provincial commander. I was given the thumbs down because there was no sufficient light to guide us even in going around. Now, I'd like to. This might be too early, but yung bumagsak na supermart, what could have been? You were all hit at 6.1. What could have been the proximate cause, at least temporarily? Bakit bumagsak yung supermart? Is there anybody who can answer the question? Yes, Secretary Anyo.
And this could be because of the structural design of the supermarket. It is only good for second floor, but it was actually constructed up to fourth floor. In fact, I would be issuing a memorandum circular to LGUs that have chosen supermarket in their jurisdiction to temporarily suspend the business permit until we have reassessed the structural integrity of these supermarkets. Before, we do not know when the next earthquake will happen, so we want to prevent unnecessary loss of life. Actually, the owner of the supermarket has been summoned by the CIDG already this afternoon. So, before we let the supermarket go into business operation, we have first to assess. There are about, I believe, 4 other chosen supermarket around Pampanga.
Well, in all probability, the one who constructed the supermart here could also be the one who constructed the others. I'd like to presume that, although I stand corrected. So, it would be good at this time to just give them the advice to stop, cease and desist doing business until such time that the clearance is given by government, whether the city engineer or whoever is competent to review the planning and inquire into what kind of materials, whether they were made or applied in right sizes, or was there any shortcut made. Yun ang, because in some, you would see that there's a lot of, you see cement, but what's the interest inside the columns there has to be examined, whether they can withstand the additional toe storage. And may I know if this was accompanied by a new application to add another storage? Yes, sir.
Just to reinforce what Secretary has said, the team from Peoples, led by Dr. Romel Grutas, who is a civil engineer and engineering seismologist, they went to Porac last night. They noted that the Charts and Chuson grocery had structural problems. That is why they got damaged. It says here other houses and structures beside the Charts and grocery had no damage.
Yes, Secretary Villar.
Sir, based on our, we're currently doing a forensic study of the structure so that we can give a more comprehensive technical report. But some initial reports po, and of course this is very raw information, but by judging by the way that it collapsed frontwards, it seems that it could be definitely a problem with the foundation. It might be, it's hard to speculate, but possibly with the columns, and the foundation seems to be insufficient. Nakikita nyo naman po yung katabi niya, halos walang damage po yung gym sa tabi niya. which was constructed by the local government. So our initial, just judging by the way that it fell and the way that it would seem that there seems to be a problem with the basic foundation. But of course, it's still too early to come up with the exact. Pero naka-deploy na po yung team namin, yung forensics team, para identify yung exact. At the same time, I instructed them also to look at the other Chuson structures, as I've been told that possibly they have similar designs. So kailangan talagang i-assess.
Can somebody tell me how old is the building?
4 years
of the
po.
other?
4 years.
Ah,
Medyo bago pa lang po. Very concerned kami sa...
Yeah. There will be a lot of questions there because one, it is a newly built only 4 years, and the fact that the intensive damage and extensive was appalling in the sense that there was a collapse, and the other buildings around made also of cement and structural materials, steel, wala namang bumagsak. You're the only one. It can happen. I know that there are some quirks, but whether it was a deliberate move to just do away with safety standards, or was there a compliance with the requirements of the law. Karamihan kasi dyan yung shortcuts and trying to save money. Yun that will be the work of the investigators. Secretary Anyo and maybe DPWH could and the police would help in the determination of the structural integrity of that building, whether it was a defect, man-made, or one of those really, I said that it can happen, and it was a bad day for them to have it. Sa sunod po, I'd like to inquire into yung nasugatan, how many of them are serious, and what help have we extended so far to cope up with the treatment of, I think they're serious kasi nabagsagan ng semento yan. So I'd like to know from Secretary Doke if are we responding appropriately to the demands of the moment.
Good afternoon, good evening, Mr. President and fellow members of the cabinet. Sir, as of 3 o'clock p.m. today, we have received a report of 112 individuals, 17 of whom were hospitalized or were brought to the J.B. Lingat Memorial Regional Hospital, and 4 were already discharged, as a matter of fact, thankfully, just before you arrived. And then 75 of the 112 are in the Jose Sonco District Hospital, while 21 are in the Romana Pangan District Hospital. And so far, they're being managed adequately. No problems in terms of medication and operations for the very seriously injured. It's a range of injuries, Mr. President, from minor to major, others needing amputation. Kasi nga po na durog ang mga buto, ang mga laman, nabagsakan po, at karamihan po dito ay mula doon sa Chuson collapsed building. But don't worry, Mr. President, because we're doing everything to make sure that the medical assistance is adequate, if not more than adequate. And we are monitoring the absorptive capacity of our DOH hospitals, as well as in coordination with the local hospitals, the district hospitals in particular, for any additional assistance or complementation of services. So yung mga doktor po natin, handa ang Philippine Orthopedic Center, sinabihan na po natin na kung kulang po ang kanilang mga orthopedic surgeons, ay magpapadala po sila rito. Pangalawa po, Mr. President, ay ang PhilHealth at ang DOH ay sinisiguro po natin na lahat ng gastusin sa kanilang pagpapa-hospital ay sasagutin po ng PhilHealth at ng DOH through the Medical Assistance Program. So, patuloy po ang ating monitoring, and we have instructed our medical center chiefs to give us an update of the day-to-day conditions of all of the injured patients.
So, in other words, sir, that our medical response to everybody, to every kind of injury suffered by now by the people can adequately be met by government at this time.
Yes, sir.
No problem about the money,
Wala po, sir.
no problem about medications.
Wala po, sir.
Dugo, meron.
Meron po tayong Red Cross, meron po tayong blood banks, and they're adequate, Mr. President.
Okay. I'm quite satisfied with this. I'll jump to General DSWD.
Good afternoon, Mr. President. Sir, here's the update on the actions taken by our regional DSWD in view of the recent earthquake. In Porac, Pampanga alone, we have distributed 200 pieces of family food packs for affected families. We also provided burial cash assistance to initially 11 individuals, as reported up to around 1,500 this afternoon. We also provided medical and financial assistance for 17 wounded individuals. This is over and above the assistance provided by the Department of Health. We also provided food packs to 445 families housed in 3 evacuation centers, 2 evacuation centers in Pampanga and 1 in Zambales. More importantly, we conducted stress debriefing to affected families. Emergency shelter assistance will be provided to 56 families from ETA community in Cora. 30,000 for a partially damaged house, while 10,000 for partially damaged. We still have more than 14,000 pieces of family food packs ready for distribution. So, as a whole, a total amount of 10.5 million in the form of cash and in kind on standby for utilization if necessary. Thank you, sir, at magandang gabi po.
So, everything is appropriate for this kind of emergency now. No, you do not have any problem. Money, additional foodstuffs are they being addressed now?
We still have standby funds for
Within comfort level.
food and non-food
Okay.
items, sir.
Thank you. Itong ano ngayon, education, nandito ba si Ma'am?
Good evening, Mr. President. I'm Yusek Alain Pasco of the Department of Education. As of this time, sir, can you please show the slides, please? As of this time, we have recorded about 108 schools that have been affected from 3 regions, Region 3 NCR and 4B, and about 80 classrooms have been damaged. Of the damage that, the cause of the damage at the moment, this afternoon it was reported at 75 million, but about 2 hours ago, it already went up to about 120 million pesos of damage. The concern, the only concern that DepEd has at the moment, Mr. President, is that our QRF fund of 2 billion already allocated in 2019 are all allocated for Tropical Depression Usman in Camarines Sur. So we may be needing replenishment budget from DBM. But we will also be applying for payout via the parametric insurance lodged at the Department of Finance and GSIS. That will cover, maybe if we can get the agreement with DOF and GSIS, the cost of the repair of the damages would be covered by the parametric insurance. Mr. President, most of the damages in schools are minor, and these are all, majority of them are fence and ceilings and pavements. No structural, no major structural damages on our buildings, especially the new ones. But one concern also that we have is that the central office at the NCR was damaged. The roofing of the central office has been damaged, so we may be needing to evacuate or transfer some of the offices that we have, including the office of the secretary. For the next 3 months, we will be transferring them to another space. That's so far, Mr. President, is our report.
Ibig sabihin, i-condemn na ninyo yung old building ninyo?
Yes, sir. The old building, sir, in the central office is about 50 years old na. This is the old Ultra. So bumukas yung roofing, Mr. President, because of the damages of the tiles and the roofings.
Okay. Do you have the money?
This building, sir, we do not have the money for this, but we are looking at because, Mr. President, we have a property in Taguig that's beside the new Senate. We would want to develop that in exchange of the central office in Pasig. We would like to have a kind of transfer of the main building, main office at that Taguig property. But we are looking at a partner on a private and public partnership arrangement so that we could have our own new building even without the cost of the government side.
When can that be?
We are now, if we could be successful this year, Mr. President, then that could be started for next year. But for the damages at the central office, we may be needing the next 3 months to repair it, to enable or to just to cover the roofing so that the rainwaters, when the rainy season would come in, would not-
Temporarily?
Yes, sir. Temporarily for the next 3 months.
Do you think that it will not cause a jeopardy on the occupants with that kind of just repair? Is there a danger that it would be another earthquake would cause its collapse? Yeah, I'm talking of the lives of people.
Yes, sir. That's why, sir, our strategic program for that is a transfer to a new office. But pending that, sir, because that would take several months of construction of new building, we will be forced to just look for alternative spaces within our compound. And we have, we can still use those areas, sir, except this building here. But structurally, sir, the building is still sound. Only the roofings would be needing retrofitting. But when it's at the second floor, the office of the secretary and several EXICOM members are located. We will be needing to relocate them.
So you think that if the repairs are made, it would still be habitable
Yes,
for
sir.
human?
It will be still habitable, sir.
But you want to put up another building there within the same compound?
It is possible, sir.
Right.
We still have a area at the back, sir, for a new executive building.
Oh, why don't you talk to the budget officer?
Yes, sir.
She has the money, but always denying that there is no money. That's the problem with. Yeah, you should build one that will survive for the next 50 to 70 years. Para hindi masyadong mabigat na sa future generations. At least the buildings are habitable, I said workable for a longer period.
If I may add, Mr. President, the location of the Department of Education and Culture is in a rock-solid place, right? It's,
Yes, sir.
Yes.
The Pasig area, sir. Yes, sir.
yes.
This is far from the West Valley Fault line, and it is really rock solid, sir.
And you have a big space in that area, right?
Yes, sir. We have a big space in the area, sir.
Thank you.
We'd go next to the Department of Trade and Industry. What's the extent of the effect, the impact of the crisis on the local economy? Wala dito si ano? Yes, sir. Sorry.
Yusek, I'm Yusek Vismonte po from DTI. Apologies from our secretary who is right now in Thailand attending AEM, and will eventually go to China for the presidential visit. Our report pertains to prices, and we like to report, sir, that this morning we monitor the prices of basic necessities and prime commodities, and we found that the prices are normal and below the suggested retail prices. And we just want to report also that some big establishment like SM Robinson's and Virgo in the city of San Fernando, Angeles, and Olongapo were closed, but basically for the assessment of the structural integrity of their buildings. So closure has no significant effect on prices of commodities. And then the DTI will continue to monitor the prices and to ensure it will remain at their normal levels, that is below the suggested retail prices, to prevent profiteering. That's all the report of DTI, sir.
Alam mo, sir, kukunti lang naman to. And I'm not trying to belittle the problem. To me, it's just maybe a few towns hard hit. Thank God that we have the barest minimum of deaths. I think that the local economy can very well be controlled. There's no panic about people, except for those who are in the hospitals and yung namatayan. I just toured around. Maybe parang okay man. So, managing the local economy would not be really a problem for Tito. Just a question of supervising whatever, if there's a need to do that. Wala masyadong ano. You do not have a runaway thing here. The matter is being controlled efficiently by the police and the military. I would have wanted to come here last night, I said, but I was prevented. I just go in from my city. I don't think that it would be a problem for you, a serious problem for you. It hit a big area and some sporadic towns, but I do not think that there's so much damage as to cause an imbalance in the economic cycle of this place. Sa tingin ko, no price control, no nothing. I think everything is normal except for that one shopping center. That's my sense sa negosyo dito. How it would impact on the business of this place, this city. Dito tayo ngayon sa agriculture. Meron bang mga lupa dito man na ano? Parang urban man ito.
Good evening, Mr. President.
Yes.
Sir, aside from 50 million pesos worth of damage on irrigation canals and dams, there's not much damage in agriculture. Our production and our production targets will not be affected. Also, earlier today, sir, I talked to Governor Pineda. we have ready and standby rice stocks available if she would need it. Thank you, sir.
That's one way of really controlling. Mas mabuti ang sobra yung preparasyon natin. And sabi ko nga, sana hindi na matulong. You know, when I assumed office, I had in mind this thing about rice will not be a problem at all. And you were there, and you delivered a long speech. I was quite confident. But really, to my horror, it came. And so we had to import. Actually, I was the one who ordered Jason to import, despite of the objection of some of our economic managers, because sometimes if we dwell too much on theories, ang tao visual eh. They just want the rice piled up up to the ceiling. It's what they say is what they believe. Kaya ganon, sobra-sobra. Mas mabuti na yan, sobra. Total kung malugi na tayo para mas gobyerno yan, para mas tao yung diman natin. Do not mind about losing money. So long as the people can eat, it would be a real problem if maulit yan, walang pagkain ng tao. Pero wala mang mag-report dyan na wala silang sobra-sobra yung pagkain. Nothing is cheap nowadays. And everything, every day, the prices go up by a few centavos, but it goes up. Labor,
Good afternoon po, Mr. President.
saan ang secretary mo, ma'am?
The Secretary is leaving tonight. Papunta pong China.
Really?
Dito po siya kanina, sir.
Bakit nauna siya?
So I will be reporting.
Is he with somebody? No. Cabinet,
I'm not sure po.
No.
Nevertheless, sir, Mr.
I
President.
will examine the flight manifest. The one who, in the flight manifest, the lady that is seated with the cabinet member, in all probability, is the lady of his life. Iba yung the wife of his home.
Okay po. Mr. President, we have profiled the 105 workers of Chuzon. And we're confident that they can be absorbed readily by the local economy because we'll be having a job fair by May 1. Ipa-facilitate po namin madali ang kanilang re-employment. Dun po sa hindi matatanggap, we will be providing livelihood assistance. And dun po sa mga nawalan ng buhay, ay magbibigay din po kami ng tulong pangkabuhayan. Mabilis po ito kahit po sila ay nasa ibang lugar. Yun lang po ang aking i-report. Magandang hapon.
I'm not joking. Marami kayong pera. Every time there's nagbibigay si Bebot, pati ikaw man, ilan ba binigay sa inyo? Malaki? May ready. Totoo.
Actually, sir, what we do now, sir, is we extend loans. And we have about 3.4 billion for easy access credit this year. It's the easiest way, sir, to extend assistance to our farmers. Kasi, sir, kung talagang asahan na natin yung Quick Reaction Fund, mauubos, sir, 1 billion lang yun. Pero ito, sir, tatlo yung programa natin dyan, yung PLE, and then yung SURE. Yung SURE natin, walang interest yan, walang collateral, 3 years to pay, para lang makarecover sa yung farmers at saka fishermen na tatamaan ng calamity. And we have been extending this, sir.
Well, if it fits to a T, maganda. Ma'am, ilan ang inyong pera lahat? Yung binigay ng gobyerno sa inyo?
Yun pong sa DOLE main ay nasa 3 billion.
Kasali na yung mga assistance ninyo?
Yung mga special purpose fund po ay hindi pa po kasama. Yun pong livelihood, more on livelihood and special program for employment.
Mas mabuti po yan. Thank you.
Salamat.
Then, Ed De Rosario. Ed,
I'm sorry, Mr. President. Chairman De Rosario is now in Marawi. He just
Oh.
left this morning. In behalf of the chairman, Mr. President, I just want to take the opportunity to thank our Congresswoman Arroyo and Governor Lilia Pineda and Vice Governor because I was also a victim of the earthquake. My house is mess and everything was still down.
nasira bahay mo, ma'am.
I'm from Porac po. Tay. Porac. I am just 2 kilometers away from Chuson.
May bahay ka pa ngayon, matulungan.
May roof pa po, pero yung sa loob, nagbagsakan po lahat. But again po, Madam, from morning until early in the morning, hindi po ninyo inindang yung pagod to rescue people and kay Governor. I have families there who also a victim. It's so sad, pero that is life. For the housing, Mr. President, we will just wait for the validation of the LGUs. For immediate action, we can give a assistance of 5,000 to 10,000 building materials for the construction of their home. Yung mga bahay po na partially damaged or totally damaged. We can give them as soon as the LGU provided us the validation po ng affected families para po ma-download na po yung funds sa LGU. Yun po yung una muna po. 5 to 10,000 building materials po.
Come to think of it. Yung napunta ka ba ng Marawi? And the housing, the little
No,
houses
sir.
that were done by Ed?
Wala po. Hindi po ako sa Marawi.
Yun in any other place, I think it has to be an elevated one. A little bit higher than the usual. Okay naman yun, ma'am. Sturdy. And it has a toilet. Lahat na. The amenities. But if you, on the average, kung 6-7 ang anak, wala talaga. But kung family of
Yes
mga
po.
4-5, sana yung ano.
Opo. Initial lang po yun. Temporarily po lang yun. But then we can also communicate with the NDRRMC dahil po we can continuously communicate with them. Dahil po may fund naman po for the housing naman po. And we are addressing right now, we are not putting the 3 families or 5 families in 24 square meter. Meron na po sila ngayong lofted. Pataas na po sila ngayon. So meron na po silang enough room sa taas. So that are the main policy po right now with the NHA, HUDC, and Social Housing Finance.
This is one, your office is one of those performing na maganda yung housing ninyo. Pati yung sa mga sundalo. But the thing I admired most was the speed that you built the houses in Marawi. Sabi na Marawi is not yet ready to the epicenter was the downtown. I don't think that I should be spending for their buildings. Hindi ako magagasto ng ano. Marami may pera yung mga tao dyan. Every Mara now there is a businessman. Kasali na yung shabu. May pera sila. The debate there is whether I would be also building the same kind that they lost. I don't think I am ready for that. Pero yung mga informal settlers, the squatters so to speak, yung ginawa ni De Rosario was really good. It's sturdy. It can stand another whatever. Tapos bagay, man-made naman ang calamity doon. It was bound to happen because of what they were doing there. Thank you for your input.
Thank you, Mr. President.
So, ma'am, Wala na iba. So, dito tayo sa DOST. Tapos ka na, boy?
Actually, ang Deputy Director po ng PBOLS ay narito. Gusto ko lang magbigay ng ilang informasyon na yung earthquake sa Central Luzon, ito pong Zambales, Pampanga is one of the seismically active areas in the country because of the Philippine Fault, the Iba Fault, the East Zambales Fault, and the Manila Trench, which are the main earthquake generators. Siguro background information, from 1928 to 1993, there were 18 moderate earthquakes which had magnitudes of 5.1 to 5.8. So,
on the average.
Opo.
On the average.
On the average po yun 65 years, 18 earthquakes, so every 4 years, parang ganun. And then, after the eruption of Pinatubo in 1991, there were moderately sized earthquakes that occurred as a result of the activity of the volcanoes. Now, from the current earthquake activity, we expect succeeding small magnitude earthquakes or aftershocks, which may continue to occur for several days to weeks, some of which may be felt. However, the probability of an earthquake higher than the magnitude 6.1 to occur from the same source is low. Now, as to the question of whether this earthquake can trigger a destructive tsunami, according to our experts at PBOLS, the magnitude of the earthquake is not big enough to generate a destructive tsunami. And we just want to assure you, those PBOLS is operating a network of 101 seismic stations monitoring all of this all over the country. In this area po, the seismic stations are located in Magalang, Pampanga, Santa Cruz, and Iba, Zambales, in Abucay, Bataan, and in Doña Remedios, Trinidad, in Bulacan. Mamaya po, kung gusto nyo marinig yung report tungkol sa earthquake sa Eastern Samar, nandito po si Deputy Director Bautista.
Ano mo na? Since we are talking of earthquakes.
Additional information, sir, about the earthquake which occurred in Eastern Samar. The earthquake are result from the activity of the Philippine Trench. So compared to the earthquake or earthquake yesterday, this one that happened at 1:37 p.m. this afternoon is deeper. It's about 65 kilometers. The one that happened here is only 10 kilometers. So that's the main reason why damage is not so extensive. There were reported minor cracks in the walls of houses, but we have not received any building that collapsed. And the possibility for a tsunami is also remote because the earthquake is also very deep, and the magnitude range 6.6. Even if there is a tsunami, the wave amplitude will be small to be destructive. So we are not expecting any hazard from tsunami. As of now, we have not received any reports of casualties. So,
Pagka ang NPA na baon doon, wag mong tulungan. Gastos lang ako sa mga sabi na may nabaon doon ng 10 o 20 NPAs there. Just tell them that Duterte does not like to spend 1 centavo of fuel for the equipment to retrieve your comrades. He is angry at you.
So continuously po natin minomonitor yung mga earthquakes sa dalawang site na yan. So ang People 27 nag-ooperate, and we will update you sa mga recent development. As of now, almost 500 na po yung aftershock dito sa Porac, Pampanga.
Ayun.
Yes sir, almost 500 na po. Doon sa Samar, nasa 60 pa lang. We are expecting more. Continuously po na every now and then nagkakaroon ng aftershock. Pero we are expecting the magnitude to be on the downtrend. So hopefully mag-wane yung energy ng mga events at tumahimik na yung mga earthquake.
Yes,
That's all about the briefing, sir.
With that, your prayers also that it will not occur now. Because in majority of the cabinet members and the speaker and me, pag bumagsak ito ngayon, ubos ang gobyerno natin. The military will automatically take over. If they are not included here, then the deputy.
Huwag kayong mag-worry, sir. Malayo tayo sa mga fault pagdating dito sa San Fernando.
Sige. Defense, wala na masyado dito kasi sa interior and local government, si...
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir. Firstly, sir, I would like really to commend the prompt and immediate action of the LGUs, particularly the provincial government under Governor Pineda. At 5:11, sir, the earthquake struck. At 5:30, there was no power, but they were able to immediately convene the local DRRMC and set up the command center. And at the same time, all other agencies, the DILG, MLGOs, PDs, and RDs, the PNP, the Armed Forces of the Philippines, the Bureau of Fire, to establish the incident command system. And I think we owe this to the continuous earthquake drill that we are conducting at least once every quarter. Because of that, we are more prepared. And in fact, as I said, command centers and search and rescue teams, emergency response teams are immediately available. But of course, we still would like to lessen the time for response, because I believe that it is the key factor to minimize the loss of lives or to prevent loss of lives. We have to still reduce the time between the disaster and the putting up of the command centers and the deployment of all search rescue teams and emergency response team. But really the key factor also is the presence of the local government chief executives. My RD and PD reported that 100% presence po yung ating mga local chief executives. That's why it's really very, very easy for them to lead the rescue effort. And another factor is the Bayanihan spirit. When we determined that Porac, the ground zero, many LGUs volunteered to help in order to rescue, retrieve victims. So, na-minimize lang po talaga itong mga biktima natin. But still, I have issued several memos, particularly the conduct of infrastructure audit, to check the safety of all buildings, especially schools and government centers. Any portion damaged during the earthquake would surely affect the integrity of the structure, and it may not be safe for the people to immediately occupy, especially tall buildings. And then we find out also that up 5:30, there was a power outage. So it was only restored at midnight, very critical during the rescue. So I'd like to oblige all LGUs to have genset readily available. We don't know the next disaster. So those LGUs who have no genset, they have to procure immediately. Then, of course, the temporary suspension of the business permit of Chuson supermarket. And then the continuous conduct of our earthquake drill nationwide. In Metro Manila, while there's only one damage reported, the Emilio Aguinaldo College, but all the LGU, the 17 LGUs, convened the local DRRMC today. For Region 4A, fortunately, sir, although they experienced intensity 4, 3, and 2, but there is no damage on any building or roads or beaches in Region 4A. So, really, sir, this is a manifestation that our local government units are prepared for disasters. But for next time, sir, we will aim for zero casualty. That's all, Mr. President.
Okay, tingin ko defense medyo malayo na sila. Budget, we have discussed it actually. Unfortunately, I have a date with the doctors regarding tuberculosis and lung. There's a convention going on. So as I said, I thought I'd be on time, but it's only 7. But i-abbreviate ko na lang. I'd like to commend the national guys who were there at the scene, the province itself, and the helping hand of the NGOs, pati yung local government units. I'd like to thank you for the esprit de corps that you have displayed so far. Sana magpaiwan na ganon yan. For after all, we are really living in one country. And there is fault everywhere. Ako pa sa iyo, maglipat ka na lang ng bahay. Huwag ka dito sa port kasi delikado. I'd like to specifically, ang kausap ko kagabi was the police and the military. I said I arrived here mga 2 o'clock. I wanted to go straight here. Maglanding sana ako, but there was also, they were in quandary sa Clark. Tinamaan rin eh. Anyway, it's not so devastating, if I say the word. But it is a problem for us. And the fact that we are assembled here, talking about it, at the end of the day, it boils down to money. Bahas kaya anong problema sa gobyerno, it boils down to the lady there at the end of the table. She is spent her lifetime counting the money and dividing it among us. So, I am not appointing a regular appointment. Si Ma'am will just act as OIC until I, in God's time, matapos ako. 3 years lang naman, Ma'am. Wala nang commission appointments. At saka kung ano ka naman, congressman, suntukin mo. May congressman ba dito?
Speaker, Mr. President.
Mr. President, ang airport namin sira. Yung airport po, sira.
Airport. Of course, that will be, ibang financing team. Ayusin ka agad yan. A lot of people who want to go there. Ang surprise ko, ma'am, Madam Speaker, is yung grupo na wanted to do some innovations there sa NAIA. And they just simply, it was agreed na sila. Conglomerate.
Yes, yes.
I don't know why, nothing else.
They've been discussing with the DOF, I think, on some conditionalities.
Problema si Dominguez, medyo maano rin. But we will try to see in the next cabinet meeting. So, ladies and gentlemen, if I may beg leave to fly to asa to? Sabi ko yung mga doktor, I thought that TB was eradicated. There was a time pati yung chicken pox, yung ganon.
Smallpox.
Smallpox. then the resurgent mutation. Tayo mayroon na. Pero nag-mutate itong padala natin sa Europe yung mga test tube ninyo. Ay, by the way, finance. Who's the finance guy here? Yung basura ng Canada. I want a boat prepared. I'll give a warning to Canada maybe next week that they better pull that thing out or I will set sail doon sa Canada, ibuhos ko yung basura nila doon. I cannot understand why they are making us a dump site. And that is not the only case in point. Papasunod-sunod yan na pinapadala yung basura sa atin. Well, not at this time. Magkaaway kami na diyan, why natin ang Canada? We'll declare war against them. Kaya man natin yan sila. Sa uli ko talaga yan. Tingnan mo. Ikarga mo yan doon sa barko, load it, the containers to a ship, and advise Canada, I will advise Canada that your garbage is on the way. Prepare a grand reception. Eat it if you want to. Buang itong ginakaya-kaya tayo. Hindi ako papayag ng gano'n. Lalo na yung nagbili tayo ng chopper sa kanila. They agreed to sell, but pahabol nila ang conditionalities nila, ma'am, na hindi daw natin magamit against our own citizens. Kulok-kulok pala kayo. My own citizens are cutting the neck of my soldiers and policemen. My own citizens are declaring war to oust everybody. Tayo, wala na trabaho. Payag ka niyan, ma'am. Budget, payag ka. Hindi. Yung pera natin, prepare mo lang kayo. Hindi ako papayag ng gano'n. Next week, itong customs na to. The next time they do it, I will sack them, all of them. Hindi kay Jagger yan. Noon, matagal na yan. Kaya sabihin ko, Jagger, send them back or do not allow them to drop anchor here. You just sweep them by, go back to where you came from. I will not allow that kind of shit at ating bayan. Sumusobra itong mga they extend yung educational grants, but on condition that we will accept their shit and their garbage. Napapayag. Kaya ikarga natin uli yan, pabalik sa kanila. Go prepare your and celebrate because your garbage is coming home. Yung iba mga 5 truck, buhos mo dyan sa Canadian Embassy. Totoo, ma'am. Pabutin mo na gano'n. Supladuhan lang itong mundo na ito kung sino lang ang pakaya. Well, not me. So, I'd like to thank you again. I also the government of Pampanga and the seal that they have shown us, despite the fact that it's hard to come there. Maraming salamat sa inyo.
On behalf of the provincial government and citizens of Pampanga, thank you, Mr. President.
Ma'am, biro lang yung ano.